In this episode, we'll start by examining the basic function of the nervous system and why it's so important, then look at the different parts that make it up, explore how these components work together to coordinate responses, and finally investigate reflex actions and how they help protect us from harm. All organisms need to respond to stimuli, changes in their environment, in order to survive. Single-celled organisms can simply respond directly to their environment, but in multicellular organisms like humans, cells need to communicate with each other first. As organisms evolved and became more complex, they developed nervous and hormonal communication systems. The nervous system is what allows humans to react to their surroundings and coordinate their behavior. It detects stimuli, processes information, and coordinates responses. Let's look at the different parts that make up this complex system. The nervous system can be divided into two main parts. First is the central nervous system, or CNS, which consists of the brain and spinal cord. In vertebrates, animals with backbones, the CNS is protected by bone. The brain is enclosed in the skull, and the spinal cord runs through the vertebral column. The second part is the peripheral nervous system. This consists of sensory neurons and motor neurons that connect the CNS to the rest of the body. Neurons are specialized cells that carry electrical impulses. There are different types of neurons with different functions. Sensory neurons carry information as electrical impulses from receptors to the CNS. Motor neurons carry electrical impulses from the CNS to effectors, the parts of the body that respond to commands from the nervous system. Receptors are cells that detect stimuli. There are many different types of receptors specialized for different stimuli. For example, we have taste receptors on the tongue and sound receptors in the ears. Receptors can form part of larger, complex organs. The retina of the eye is covered in light receptor cells that detect light of different wavelengths. Effectors respond to nervous impulses and bring about a change. Muscles and glands are known as effectors. They respond in different ways. Muscles contract in response to a nervous impulse, whereas glands secrete hormones. The central nervous system acts as a coordination center. It receives information from the receptors and then coordinates a response, which is carried out by effectors. This whole process happens very quickly thanks to the way neurons communicate with each other. Neurons transmit information very quickly to and from the brain, and your brain quickly decides how to respond to a stimulus. The connection between two neurons is called a synapse. Here, the nerve signal is transferred by chemicals which diffuse across the gap. These chemicals then set off a new electrical signal in the next neuron. This allows information to pass from one neuron to the next throughout the nervous system. But some responses happen even more quickly through reflexes. Reflexes are rapid, automatic responses to certain stimuli that don't involve the conscious part of the brain. Reflexes help reduce the chances of being injured. For example, if someone shines a bright light in your eyes, your pupils automatically get smaller so that less light gets into the eye. The passage of information in a reflex from receptor to effector is called a reflex arc. When a stimulus, such as a painful bee sting, is detected by receptors, impulses are sent along a sensory neuron to a relay neuron in the CNS. When the impulses reach a synapse between the sensory neuron and the relay neuron, they trigger chemicals to be released. These chemicals cause impulses to be sent along the relay neuron. When the impulses reach a synapse between the relay neuron and a motor neuron, the same thing happens. Chemicals are released and cause impulses to be sent along the motor neuron. The impulses then travel along the motor neuron to the effector, which is usually a muscle in this example. The muscle then contracts and moves your hand away from the bee. Because you don't have to think about this response, it happens very quickly, helping to minimize damage from harmful stimuli. Understanding the nervous system helps us appreciate how our bodies detect and respond to the world around us. This complex network of cells allows us to react quickly to changes, protecting us from harm and helping us interact with our environment. In our next episode, we'll explore specific parts of the nervous system in more detail, looking at how the brain processes information and coordinates complex responses.